Hello. Let's see, no webcam. There we are. Maybe wrong direction. There we go. Okay, let me put on my gloves. I thought today I will stick to the prompt, which was scurry. So I'm just gonna bring up a couple of examples for myself of animals scurrying. Hey Roo. Is it the SS Curry? Yes, it is the SS Curry. Hey guys, and hello girlfriend. Okay. So let's see, scurrying is usually smaller animals that run very quickly. So I thought we could do an interesting mech today that is scurrying along, and I'll just reuse the page that I had yesterday. Let's see. I'm really not good with, not used to drawing animals, so this is a nice little challenge. Also, there's not too many good pictures out there with scurrying, so this is extra interesting for me. But I might switch to my pen just because I feel more comfortable if I work with my pen. Something like this. Batman does have good hands indeed. Okay, scurrying. I'm gonna have to look up scurrying animal maybe. It's funny, I never really used this word for anything before. I think I might get a better effect out of it. Also, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with the legs. Let's see. I'm trying to see what to do. The main problem right now is the back leg, because I'm looking up. I want the back legs to be in a front position, and by that I mean they're reaching to the front, because I think that would give us a bit of a feeling of speed. Something like this. So then if I have the body here, let me see if it's in camera, it is. Then like one leg would be reaching forward like this. And you could also, this is more like a cheetah run. I don't know if that is great for scurrying, because it's going to be super fast. Well, I decided an interesting time to stream when I don't know what exactly I'm doing, so it should be very great material for entertainment, I guess. Let us do some side analysis. Let me try scurrying side view. Scurrying side view. What do we have here? It's a bunch of side views of animals that are not scurrying, or animals. Okay, we have a raccoon here, which sort of does something like this, and then the front legs go forward, something like this, and then this leg is there, and the back leg is something like that. And then It's a very horrible looking little raccoon, but it gives me an idea. Something like that. Horrible music. Let me switch out the music because this is not working for us. Let's do a bit of hip hop. There we go. Actually, this works. I'm also gonna look up mouse running. Actually, rat running. Could be mouse as well. Could be both. There, this is what I wanted. Now I found the pictures I was looking for. All right. So now we can now we're talking. So let me see. This is sort of its body. This is the leg. Goes a bit like this. Goes a bit like that, and then we have the back leg. Goes a bit like this, and a bit forward. And then the other leg is there. Yeah, I like this a lot. Sounds like 70s music. No, not hip hop. Sorry, Roo. Hip hop all the way. I'm getting to draw on stream. Exactly. I just responded on Discord. It's fine, Benchy. I'm not in Poland. I got back Friday late evening. And I was very, very tired. And yeah, Benchy, I wrote you quite late because I remembered relatively late that I will be at the airport for a longer time on my way back. I get super random notification by Discord, some pop up, some don't. Yeah. Discord is funny like that sometimes. Okay, let me turn off some of these scurry prompts because they don't necessarily work. What else do we have here? This one I liked as well. So preferably I like to do like proper 3/4 views when I'm doing square stuff like this. But this is all not the most 3/4, so we'll try and translate it as much as we can. Hey, Colks. What am I drawing? We're doing Inktober. Today's prompt is curry. And while I said that I don't necessarily want to stick to the prompts, I found it nice and challenging to use the prompt word scurry to come up with something. So I thought, because usually we talk about mice and rats and stuff like this, that when we're talking about scurrying, I might as well use that for a pose for a smaller mech that is scurrying across a battlefield or something. Let's see. And I'm very strongly sticking to a mouse slash. It is a mouse that I have as a reference. By the way, Benchy, if you're still around, if you guys ever do some sort of sketch meetup in Berlin for drawing people, I'll gladly join. If you give me, if you give me a couch to sleep on, we could do something like that. If we manage to gather people who are interested in something like that, or you can come to Amsterdam. I also have a nice couch for you here. Okay, so this is working. I'm happy with this. I just want to come up with robot parts that work a little bit better. And I just noticed that I was not. Oh Jesus! What happened with? Guys, I'm sorry, son. That's blown out. Let me quickly fix that. Camera control, exposure, apply, and bring down brightness a little bit as well. There we go. That's a bit better. Sorry about that. Things are going wild a little bit here. Okay, let's see if. I bet the sun is gonna go away in a minute, and then we're not gonna be able to see. It's gonna be too dark again. Okay, so I'm gonna put away my pen, take a pencil, do an under drawing here. Gotta look up what scurry exactly means. Well, you know the small rat animals, when they quickly run along the floor, that they usually say that they scurry along. We call them vermin here in America, small annoying critters that scurry around. There you go, exactly. So I'm thinking it would be cool if I add some elements that are not just the robot itself. Bench press, sure man, got a folding mattress. There's drink and draw. They do people drawing, new drawing, costume drawing, quite a few times a week. There's also these game developer meetups, if that's your thing. Well, you know me, everything is my thing that has to do with drawing and fun people. And if there's a little bit of alcohol involved as well, it makes everything run that much smoother, eh? Okay, so let me move the geometry a little bit around here. So we have a good. So this would be the leg. This comes to the front, and then this would go below, and we have space for a head here. Auto-tune is not our favorite thing. Shoulder plates. I'm also trying to make my design slightly more organic, because I'm very comfortable with the non-organic designs, but let's see what I can do if I force myself to make them just a bit more organic. Aldehyde, aldehyde. I want to ask that which drawing pad will be best for digital artwork, the simple or that one which have screen on the pad? If you're starting, go for the simple. It's going to take a little while for you to get used to it, but there's no reason to invest that much money if you're just starting out and learning. I'm pretty much doing a robot mouse. Well, I'm trying to make look less like a mouse, but technically it is still a mouse. Let's see, I always like putting some handles here and there where they don't belong and where they don't do a big difference. Benchy, oh, there isn't a best. All have pros and cons. I know professional illustrators who still prefers the simple pad ones. I for one need my nose pressed against the work, so screens for me. Yeah, pretty much same here. I got used to screens now and I love them. I can work on non-screen ones, but it is becoming a bit harder just because I'm so used to the screens. Can't deal with the visual haptical disconnect. On the other hand, cheap ones still have parallax issues, which drives me mad. I mean, the iPad is good, but I always prefer my Wacom setup, or not Wacom now, UG setup. Although the UG I use more for travel, because it's so awesome and movable. Bogdan says this one I think needs some cheese mechanic. Does it though? Does it though? Something like that. Hey Hubert, welcome to our secret stream. I don't like something about this lag in the background. I need to figure out what's going on. So it would be there. I'm gonna put it there, maybe move it a little bit that way. Should work. I had water here somewhere. So Benchy, are you doing Inktober? I didn't check Instagram yet to see if she posted anything. And another challenge for myself for I don't know, it's just for today or for general, I want to use more blacks, because in general I'm not good with big dark spots. So let's see what we can do there. Um, I'm going to go pee. Oh, thank you for that information, Ru. I did do good Dargo yesterday. I didn't post yet though. I'll do the occasional one, but I won't press myself to do anything this year. Also, I won't stick to a certain material. Yeah, that's this. So this was yesterday's gargle. It has nothing to do with gargle, but I just felt like drawing. I had a whole bunch of work up until now, so now I kept my weeks a little bit freer from now on. Let's see how I feel because I just need a lot of recuperation time right now. And depending on how I feel, I might do more or less. But yeah, I had a couple of years when I was pushing myself to do one. Let's see what happens now. I don't like the thickness of this upper leg here. If a prom's cool and I have time, I'll throw one out. Very good. I like that approach. Pretty much we'll do the same. I know what the problem is. This leg is bending the wrong way. I need more. Something like that. Yeah. Papa Ver, why everyone draw a rat? Because rats are scurrying, and it's I guess the easiest way to draw something that's scurrying for lazy people like myself. Trazin, that's the worst attempt at a golden retriever. I have to agree with that. I suck at drawing golden retrievers. Struggling more with getting back into the drawing and getting good again thing at the moment here. Well, getting back into drawing shouldn't be so hard. You're just talking to me right now. So all you have to do is just grab a pen and draw along. Prepare this nice little white paper. Acor. One ear sort of antenna thing. And let's do another one in the other direction. Hey, blah blah blah. Ay. Okay, let me make some room because I have my ink wash things prepared here for a bit later to throw some water on it. But right now I need to move this around a bit so it's more in the way where my hand likes it. So, is everybody doing Inktober or doing something else? How are you guys doing this autumn? Since it is October the 2nd, so it's officially autumn. And while usually I get sad when autumn is here, I must say as I get older and as I am a little bit less inclined to be super joyful for the murderous heat waves that are happening due to climate change, I am less sad that the heat is gone and cooler weather is approaching. I'm pretty sure my younger self would be disappointed to hear these words coming out of my mouth. I don't remember what is tomorrow's prompt, but I'll try to draw something mechanical. Don't worry about the prompt, man. The prompts are there for you. If you're not coming up with anything to draw, then they help, but you don't need to stick to them. I just found the scurry interesting, and I thought it would be a nice challenge to draw something that is actually scurrying around. October, the moment when everything dies, but I can't. Alright. Rue just scurried back to our stream. I don't think you missed anything, Rue. I don't want to use too much. So these are my Tombow pens. This is my other Tombow pen. I want to say these are my Tombow pens. This is somewhat empty, so I want to use this to fill bigger, darker areas, and I'll just use my the new one that still has a nice sharp edge to do the sharper things. Ben SCH, you're very welcome. I'm glad you find my tutorials useful. Okay, now we're back to a bit darker again. Nah, I think it's still visible. You guys tell me if it's not visible, and I'll adjust the camera options. Bench blanket should be the name. Wash blanket. Where does the blanket part come after the sh? Ooh, that's a misclick. Let me look up some. I want some mechanical reference in the background. Cause pillow. Oh, because we have bench pillow and we need bench blanket. Very good. I am slow today. I apologize. That was a good joke. I retrospectively give you credit for that one because I like it. Okay. Max detail, Mac detail. Alright, we opened a couple of mech things. Well, I bought that for sure. It's not so good, not so good. Somewhat okay. This seems okay. Yeah, I think here we don't need more mobility than there already is. So let's close this one up. And then we would have something like this here. Okay, we're dark again, aren't we now? Let me see what can I put this to auto, maybe? Video configuration. White balance is auto. Brightness I can't put to auto. Exposure I can put to auto, but that doesn't help. Okay, there we go. This should work. Okay, there we go. Let's do some darks. By the way, since I got a couple of you here, I am curious if any of you have watched or finished watching the Cyberpunk Edge Runners anime yet. I know I started and finished watching it back when I was still in Romania, and I really liked it. Almost got me back into playing the game again. Not quite though. Not quite. But I do hear a lot of people got back into it, which is good. One day I hope I'll get back into it as well, but I got plenty of other things to do for now, or other games to finish before I go back there. What is is cool that even though they sort of messed up the game a little bit, at least the launch of the game, but parts of the game, like it's not as engaging for me as other games, but it's still nice that slowly they're starting to recuperate and sort of go in the direction that everybody thought that things would go into. Ten out of 10, yep. Bogdan hasn't gotten to it yet, and Hubert didn't start watching either. Well, I don't know. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth. If you like anime, it's definitely worth it. If you like cyberpunk, it's definitely worth it. And if you just like cool animation or sort of animated gory stuff, I also think it's worth it. I actually am not the biggest fan of anime and gore, even though that happens a lot, and I'm sort of used to it. Like stuff like Akira, right? Like we all know that that's a thing. But I was fine with it. Yeah, I think it just goes with the whole theme of cyberpunk, right? Like humans are disposable. Everything is just about the big corporations. That message really comes over well. And it was interesting looking at the anime, and if you have played even just a little bit of the game, you can sort of recognize places within Night City or around Night City. I thought that was a pretty cool aspect. Okay, I didn't really work out what's happening here. Let's take away of this graphite a little bit. I started Neon Genesis Evangelion recently. Hope to understand something this time. Oh no, you won't. I mean, I don't want to say you won't because I don't know, but I rewatched it a couple years ago thinking that, hey, I'm an adult now. I should be able to understand what's going on in here. Nothing, absolutely nothing. The mechs are still cool. The fights are very cool. Very creative designs. But I wasn't any smarter than last time. Even though I was hoping for that. Maybe one more little mechanical tidbit here, and then in between we can fill it up with black. Something like that. A bit more black here as well. Okay, bit by bit, we are making progress. Mm, mm, mm. I want to look at some more reference. I don't need this anymore. I don't need this right now. Mm, trying to so trying to find a nice balance between more square mechanical body parts and also smoother rounded body parts. Oh, this might work actually if I do sort of I like that. Not quite there yet, but I see something. I see something that might work. Let's switch to blacks. I have to adjust the perspective and my lines here a little bit off. So behind this is like sort of like a shoulder cover I want there, and I still want the joint to somewhat be visible. There. And then we have the lower front leg reaching back here. And then we have the actual paw, or whatever we want to call it, part that touches the earth, or the ground to be more precise. Just here again I feel like the perspective is a little bit, should not be visible, but okay. It's fine, not everything has to be perfect. So these front lower legs are quite square, which is nice. Something that I should do is I'm just gonna take my other Tombow pen and make the outline here stronger, because right now it's not clear which leg is in the front, which is in the back. And as soon as I make this line a bit thicker, it might become a bit cartoony, but at the same time it's also very clear that it is in the front. So at least this leg is in front of that leg. Again, I don't know why I keep on messing up this perspective line. I think here it was also this lower leg part that already screwed with me a little bit. There we go. I always like cartoony. Thanks, Rue. Yeah, I mean, of course it's my style, so I like it as well, but every now and then I would like to step away from my own style, I guess. I guess I'm gonna come in here with full darks and just make some of the detail disappear into those darks, which at the same time will give the hint or impression of more stuff happening there than actually is. The benefits of strong darks. You can suggest and hint at things. Okay, let me take my pencil, add a little bit detail here. So some sort of ribs. I want to suggest some of those. And they should reach relatively low. Oh yeah, I forgot about this part. I still do the jumping around. Wherever I see that I started a detail and I forgot about it, I'm gonna jump back and try to finish it up. Do I sell my sketches? Usually I don't, but if people really want them, we can do that. I don't really do commissions or stuff like that, just because I don't have the time. But if people want some of my older sketches, I am open to that. The thing is, it's easier if I know ahead of time if somebody wants a sketch, because it's slightly less convenient taking sketches out of a sketchbook. But what I want to do is compile a bunch of these traditional sketches that I did over the years for Inktober and March of Robots into smaller art booklet and sell that. Let's see if people are interested in something like that, because I have quite a couple of sketchbooks and sketches with robots that I think would be cool if people are interested in this kind of thing. I'm a traditional pencil sketcher, but my art don't look as nearly as detailed as yours. Well, that's just some time, I guess. And it's also like your preference. Like I like lines to be neat and clean and clear. At the same time, I'm also like, I'm stuck in that. Even when I want to do something different sometimes, I feel that I force myself to draw like this even if I don't want to. But it is up to people as well what they prefer, and every now and then you can go for your own style. Don't worry about it being super neat. If your style is not that neat, that is fine. How did I train my sketch skill? Just years and years of sketching and years of looking at comic books and concept art and industrial design type concept art. It is really more than what one would think. It is just the years that you put in. If you draw a little bit every evening, if you try to learn from other artists, just spend a little bit of time understanding why other artists do what they do, it will slowly start accumulating. And many times you don't see it. Like honestly, like I'm surprised that people ask me these sort of questions, because in my head I still don't draw that well, because I constantly compare myself to people who are much better than me, and then I don't really see the growth in me sometimes. And also, like, even if I grow up to one level, I discover new people and I start comparing myself to them. So it's not the most healthy thing to do, but hey. Kenneth O'Brien, hey, are there any industrial designers or concept artists that inspired you, particular style? Well, I think my style is a mix of industrial designers and comic book artists. So obviously Scott Robertson I like a lot. Sid Mead is one of my all-time favorite illustrators, visualizers. Ian McHugh I like a lot. Then Feng Zhu had a big influence on my, especially in the time when I was learning and then when I was developing my skills. I used a lot of Feng Zhu's teachings. And on the comic book part, I started out with, let me see, just a quick thing. Let's see. Mark Bagley, there we go. Funnily enough, a lot of comic book artists don't like him. But then again, I didn't like John Romita Jr. for the longest time. I think I developed a liking for his style, but in the beginning I really didn't like what he was doing. But it's funny because I grew up with Mark Bagley and I didn't like John Romita, and then as I grow older I start to see what people didn't like in Mark Bagley, and I start to see more stuff that I like in John Romita. But then there were a lot of new comic book artists that had some influence on me. Just stuff that I really love. For example, Olivier Coipel. Absolutely love everything he does. But then also, who's the guy on Invincible? Ryan Otley. There we go. I don't even have to look it up. So these styles, I look at all of them, and then they sort of merge together in my head, and then I just try to apply little bits and pieces. Cameron, do you have an image in your head before starting a sketch? This robotic duck looks awesome. What advice would you give to someone who looks like to start mechanical robotics? So I do not have. I'm sadly. I would love to be like Kim Jong Ji and just start drawing, but for this one, I just started uh, copying. Well, trying to come up with my own poses, and I realized, okay, this is sort of not working for me. So I started looking at raccoons and other critters, how they run, and then just trying compiling them, and then I found the pose that I really like, and I drew out this pose, and then from this I guess we came to here. So a lot of the detailing I still don't see in my head. I just start putting down lines and I see how they work, and if I like how they fit together, I just go with it's almost like, if you know 3D, a little bit of kit bashing. I just don't have the kits ready, and I just throw lines there, and they turn into bits and pieces that seem to fit the whole thing. The concept is really good. Thank you, Yukon. Hey, Yoga Satrianda. Welcome to our little secret Inktober stream. Now sell me the doggo. It's not a dog. What was it? A very messed up golden retriever? I have never looked at animals in nature before. Maybe I will start with that as a story. Well, think of it. Mechs are sort of animals. Let me see if I have anything here. I think I have quite a couple of mechs in this one. So, and by animals I count myself. So this is clearly Gundam inspired, let's not talk about that. But this is like human inspired, right? So it's easy. It's legs, arms, and torso. So we are an animal, so we go by animals. I should have a couple of non-animalistic mechs in here as well. Let me see. Is this not my mech sketchbook? Could be that this is. Here we go. It's a mech inspired by a Chinese dragon. So you have articulations like you would have in a snake. You have legs. Chinese dragon is already quite worked out, so you just have to follow what you see in a Chinese dragon. Here I did giant turtle mech. Like I don't know. This was I think also a live stream. Like how would I draw a kaiju sort of giant turtle robot? So it's very clear inspiration, but I should have some stuff. Oh no, this is not my. Okay, this is not my mech sketchbook. Oh, I think that this might be my mech sketchbook. Let's see. Oh, I hit the camera. Sorry about that. Let's see. Where are my mechs? Where are my mechs? These are spaceships. Oh, there's the mechs. There we go. Some mechs. Okay, so this was this year's or last year's March of Robots. I don't remember. But if we look at this, for example, I just took some sort of four-legged animal and I put a big box on it. But then to do these sorts of joints and whatnot, it's always nice to look at animals' joints. Like if you look at the skeleton of an animal, you see how these joints are working. Same thing here. Again, human. I just put joints on top of joints. Some sort. T-Rex. If you look at dinosaurs, like a lot of mechs, especially the walker types, are based on dinosaurs. Then chicken leggy robots. There's a lot of chicken leggy robots. And this is just something with wheels. Another one with wheels. This is just a wrapping, but here you go. This is very much Strauss. Is that the name? Wait a sec. I have to translate. I don't remember. Ostrich. Ah, Jesus. Yeah. So this is sort of like an ostrich leg, if you look at it. And I just added some mechanical stuff, and it runs around and it blows balloons, right? So animals are very much something that you should look into if you want to draw mechs, but also humans or anything. Ooh, sorry if that was loud. All right, let's return to our boy here. And then I wanted to add, oh yeah, here we go. I'm going to add a couple of synthetic muscles, just because they always look good. So that, of course, the other helpful thing if you want to draw mechs is just look at a whole bunch of reference. The more you look at them, the easier it's going to be to remember. Like this is, like these sort of muscle things, a lot of artists do them, especially the Asian artists. They're really good at this. If you look at Metal Gear, they have these sort of synthetic muscle pieces. Do no longer streams? Yeah, of course I do streams, but as you can see the title, this is a secret stream. Secret streams are just streams that I just feel like doing at the moment. But last Thursday I didn't do a stream because I wasn't in the country, I wasn't in the vicinity of a computer, and I just didn't have the time because I was working weird hours. I was at a conference in Poland, and I just didn't have the time to take a couple of minutes and stream. So that was the reason for that. This actually should be in shadow as well. You know what? So this is what I was talking about. I need to be braver with my shading. There we go. Nothing bad happens if something is in shadow. It's fine. So this one should be visible, and I noted it on this side a little bit. It should be visible. And then I'm just going to add a couple of X's here that this can all be black. And then in the meantime, I continue with the handles here. Let's just draw a little bit of socket. Not too much socket. Sometimes my English just doesn't want to collaborate or cooperate with me. There we go. Rugai, is that an old Romanian proverb? Nothing can go bad in shadow. It's sort of just trying to push myself that I'm always afraid of adding too much dark, because it's like salt. If you add too much salt into a dish, you can't take it out anymore. And it's a little bit similar with the darks as well, especially if you're working traditionally. So I'm afraid of using them, but I'm just trying to convince myself that hey, okay. It's okay. How's America? Are you guys starting the Halloween season yet? That's around October. Is it end of October? I never know when that is. For some reason, that was one of the American traditions holidays that I didn't care about adopting at all. Just I really don't like dressing up. I guess it's just not my thing. I find it a waste every year buying a new costume just to go to a party. In general, just avoided everything that had to do with Halloween. But I do enjoy the Halloween entertainment, like different Halloween movies and whatnot. Yeah, Americans will get into the Halloween. I mean, it is your holiday. Would be weird if you wouldn't get into it. Okay, this is quite long, right? So we have, let me just see. We have this long, thicker there. Let's see. So I'm in between. Should I cross hatch this or should I make it fully black? I think I'm gonna make it fully black, just because why not? In their costumes. Okay, so there's gonna be a little bit of white space there, and I'm gonna leave that white space there and one there, and then the rest can be black. So when you're doing black stuff, it's good to outline areas that should stay white, because you can always go a little bit darker around it. But unless you have a really nice white gel pen or something, can't really take away from the black lines. There we go. Okay. And then let's see what we do with this tail. I'm not sure about this. It needs something like a red tail, just because visually we're used to, like, also if you look at big cats, they all have the big tails. So it would need something. I don't know about it. It's too fishy. So also I don't want it to be fishy. Let's see what we can do. Like if I bring it down, we get a bit more of that animalistic. I bring it down. I mean, if I make it slanted there. Yeah. See, I just do not want the tail. The tail is just too ratty, and I might use a different tail. That also doesn't work. What about some cylinders? That might be interesting. And then on the cylinder we could add these things. I think I will stick with a cylinder. It needs a little bit of refinement, but the basic idea I do like. You want some dark there. Yeah, might be a bit big, but it works. See, digitally now we just all cut this and bring it a little bit closer. And that's what we're gonna do. I keep on talking about don't be afraid of killing your babies, and then I wanna pussyfoot around, so we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna kill this baby. So, watch out for that ellipse. We want it to be in perspective. So we'll have it somewhere there. Something like that, and then we have these things here. Let me make it a bit bigger. Yeah, this works. This works for me. All right. Piggy tail and huge jet engine. I mean, that's a possibility. But we went with this one. Okay, so that will be one stabilizing wing. Thanks, Bogdan. I'm never quite sure. Like sometimes I have a feeling from the get-go that I'm gonna like what I'm doing. Here I'm not quite there yet. Like, I feel like I had better ideas than this one, but you know, once you started, it's also just good to finish things. When I was younger, I had millions of pages and sketchbook pages or just paper pieces of unfinished sketches, and I think it's just better to even if you don't like the idea anymore, just go through with it and finish it. It gives you all sorts of good habits, finishing your stuff. Habits that in a professional life will come in handy. Okay, let's add the antenna. All right. That all can be black. Maybe that there. I'm gonna add one more rib here, there, and now we're gonna just close these dark areas. Here I have excess. I knew I had some marked areas for darkening. And here. Alright, make this a bit stronger. Okay, now let's wait a second. Actually, in the meantime, I can think about some debris that this is being thrown around. Okay. Prompt scurry? Yes, prompt is scurry indeed. And hello Ephraim. So I want a bit of impact, I want a bit more context around his running. Thicken the leg a bit, thicken these pieces here as well. Okay, and then just a couple of these shaky lines together with some speed lines as well. Hubert, yeah, I wasn't happy how my Roadrunner was turning out, but at the end when I finished I started like, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that Roadrunner looked good, man, I liked it. You can always find mistakes and stuff like that, but you know, you finish and you learn something from each piece you do. Okay. There is a mythology Horus with 8 legs. What's a Horus? It would be great in robot mode. Not sure what a Horus is. Okay, so we clearly can make some of the lines quite a bit thicker because it's not, the lines are not super clear, so that is fine, that is not a problem. That's what we can always go in and do that. This one needs to be a little bit thicker. No, this is in the back and it could be thinner, but I still want it to be a bit more puffy. There we go. Same for the front, like here. just enhance these lines a bit, especially around this foot piece. We can bring in some dark detail elements as well, just as with the other foot. Okay, that works a bit better. Oh, horse. Yeah. There's a mythological horse with 8 legs. I agree with you. That probably would look amazing. What is the schedule? I was about to tell you this. I have no idea. It was like the cheapest sketchbook that I could find in Action. Action is one of these super cheap convenience stores. It was, I think, €2.50. Apparently it's made here in the Netherlands, but it is really like the cheapest sketchbook I've ever bought in my life. So all the other ones that I showed you, both of them, I think this is a Hanemühle. Yeah, it is a Hanemühle. No, it's a Leuchtturm. So this is a Leuchtturm, and this is a Sea White of Brighton. Both of these were in towards the €20 marks. And this one is also this is 120 grams, if I'm correct, the thickness of the paper. If I knew where I put that paper now, I threw it somewhere. Anyways, this is like 120 grams paper, so it's not the thickest, but as you can see, it holds water relatively okay. You're not gonna do watercolor paintings with it, but if you wanna do a nice little ink wash, like what we're gonna do here in a minute, it is okay for that. Okay, so you know what we're gonna do? We're going to do the background without ink. So that's just gonna be the ink wash. It should look relatively cool if I don't mess it up, which I will probably mess it up. I can tell you that much. I will definitely mess it up because I'm not that good with ink wash. Let's add just a little bit more detail here. All right. I guess ink wash time. So 80 sheets. Yeah, wait a second. I have the paper, so the grammage should be. It doesn't say. Good job. Just A5 and 80 sheets. So I have this little thing here. As you can see, this is from yesterday. I had different amounts of ink in there. I am going to take my brush, and I have water here. And I'm just gonna add water to these and dissolve the ink in there. So I have different levels of grace. The ink is just simple India ink. And the only problem if you do this, the ink doesn't dissolve amazingly, and you're gonna have small little ink particles. Like it almost looks like dust. So this is the cheap man's version of inking stuff, but it still should give us a good effect. So I'm filling these up with different levels of water, so also my ink or my grays are going to be different in strength. Okay, add some more there as well. I'm gonna add some more water here. So this is going to be my super base, my lightest sort of water. And then I can say, this is too light. Probably all of them are going to be a bit too light Okay, so in that case, I mean, it's nice. I don't need that much water. Here's a tip: have some toilet paper at hand if you want to take the water away. Okay, so we are going to take a little bit more ink and add it. Now I just want to dip the tip of just the tip of it, guys, just the tip of it, and ladies as well. And let's see, I want this to be the darkest, this maybe a little bit, this also a bit, this a bit more, and then a bit more there. There we go. So this way we have different strengths again, and now I'm gonna add water here and there to make a nice transitions of different grays. Ephraim, do you like cats? Yes, I do like cats. I am a cat person, as opposed to being a dog person. I like pets, I don't want to keep them in apartments. I'm not a fan of keeping animals in apartments. I feel like animals need a lot of space to run around and have fun. So no pets in apartments, for me at least. I went with the wrong gray. And you can have sort of like nice watercolor type effects with ink washers. You can leave little white spots. This should be a bit brighter in my opinion. So this side we're going to do with a lighter wash. And I'm also going to leave that white area at the edge as reflective space. And because so I'm switching here with this lighter gray just because it is much higher, gets more light, so it's not as dark. Same thing probably here. And then we go back to our darker gray. And then we can do the lower leg. Leave some reflection space there. I want to try not to go too often over one area with the brush, just because, as I said, this is a mixed media sketchbook with mixed media paper in it, which means that it can take a certain amount of water, but not too much. So if you need to go over it again, just wait, let it dry a bit. At least that's my approach, which I don't know if it's the correct approach because I am not trained to use traditional media. I'm just guessing. I also make sure that there's very little water on my brush. Just like that. So what's cool, I was talking about the watercolor effect, right? So now I'm going to do the opposite of what I just said. I'm going to water this whole area here, and I'm going to take a quick dip back into the darkest, or as dark as possible, and I'm going to dip it here. And then hopefully this will just disperse there a little bit, and you will have a nice effect. Okay, now I'm going to take a darker, basically the dark one that I was working with. Let's see if it works. Now we can go a bit darker as well. Have you ever made homemade animation I tried my hand at it, like short. If you look on my YouTube channel, you might actually find, not YouTube, sorry, Instagram. There are one or two very short onion skin type animations. But yeah, as I said several times, my hat off to traditional animators because it's so much work. It's ridiculous. I'm not catching fades anymore. Gotta keep my hands clean when they come for the board. Keep it smooth like a dawn, making moves in the dark. Cause I learned how to swim in the pool full of sharks. Now they coaches, cause they can't read all this motion. What I like to do as well is do the joints with a different or a darker color. So I tend to come back in with this darker ink and just color it up a bit. I don't know if coloring is the right word here. Rendering, maybe? Priyam Kashay, I'm doing an anime girl. Well, you have to talk to Rue. He's the anime girl maniac here. Her name is Anya from Spy X Family. Running away from a car for today's prompt. Scurrying away from the car. That's a good one. That is a good one. Okay. These can be a bit darker. This one I want darker as well. Oh, I'm being called. I guess I pick it up in a bit. Let me wash out my brush. And I'm gonna take some of the lighter gray. This here. Let's see what this looks like. So if I add a bit here. I want a bit of the gray, but not too much. Not sure if it shows. It does show up on the camera a little bit. So that's, actually the camera is now much darker, which is good. Here I don't want to come in with the dark yet, just because this is still wet and we would have running issues. But we can come in here. Yeah, I feel like I could come. Oh, sorry about the shakiness. Apparently I love hitting the camera. Let's see. And I'm gonna leave like a slight white area between the two. Like that. That should be okay. Alright, the camera is picking it up much darker, which is cool, interesting. See, this is dry. Now I come back a little bit here with my brush. There we go. Go more. Let's lighten this up a little bit. Stop hitting the camera, Robert. It's not so hard. Do you like the storyteller? What do you mean by the storyteller? Is it like a comic book or something called the storyteller? Okay, I just laid a base layer of gray. This is all gonna be darker below it, so I can go back there directly with a dark gray. And this one is also just going to be the light gray. Maybe I come back in with a darker one. We leave that white stripe white. Here I could come in with a bit of dark. Let's do that. Let me pick a darker one. And just dip it a couple of times there, and it should nicely run along there. Like that. Okay. Let's see other questions. You're really good at drawing. Thank you for the tour. Very welcome. Nothing. Actually, we're going to try the same trick here because this is not dark enough, so I go for a darker ink blotch and place it there. Something like that. Oh, this is still doesn't feel, I don't want to do too dark though. Let's leave it like that for now. I can make the whites in this background thing a little bit darker. There we go. That is something I'm okay with. And this one will probably be relatively dark. Same here. Okay, now I can do this leg as well. It seems to be dry enough. Now we can paint into this gray a bit. And I'm gonna take a nice dark gray, fill in some of these mechanical elements. How dark is it? It's not so dark. Yeah. So tricky thing, like with the camera you don't see it because the camera points straight down, but I see it from the side, so I have to move my head a little bit because the water reflects light, so I can't exactly see what's happening here every now and then. Okay, so we have a couple of, I like the color transitions. Here we can make this a bit darker as well. And then this darker as well. And then we're getting close to being done with this one. Okay, I'm gonna wash out my brush a bit. Take some of the light gray and just go over these surfaces that face the light directly. We don't want it to be completely white. So this should bring it down a bit. Yeah, thanks Amit. You should make a 3D toy of your robots, at least one with 3D printer. It's not something that is super easy to do. I mean, you would need to model it, and I do have a couple of modeled robots, but I don't know how to model them for print just that well. I mean, I could start doing it, but I enjoy the 2D process a bit more than the 3D. Okay, let me add a bit of brightness to the camera because I see. I configure a video. There we go. This should be a bit better, closer to what I want to do here. Okay. Or am I go back to darks. He doesn't look like he's scurrying, Robert, more like he's galloping. I think he's scurrying. We add some more debris and he should be nicely scurrying. Okay, I want to add a bit of shadow effects here and there, so this should throw a shadow there. Let's see where else we have shadows. There should be a shadow here. Something like that. This is in shadow. That could be a bit in shadow. This one can be a bit darker as well. And we could have one line here as well. Something like that. Maybe here we could have a bit of darkness. This could be dark. This I want to be done. It is really nitpicky, sort of going back, trying to see. Okay, I'm gonna try and wash this out a bit. Okay, I don't want there to be too much water, so I'm gonna quickly touch and remove there. Okay, let's see. Let's see if my idea is working. Okay, now the other side. Make sure that these sort of little clouds around his leg are staying white, so we have that effect of dust thrown up. See, this already is distorting the paper because it's a bit more water that I used anywhere else on the robot. And that is not something that it enjoys apparently. Looks like Amy from the movie Red Planet. have not seen that. It sounds interesting. Might want to check it out. So I think I can come back with, I wait for this to dry, and I can come back with my ink and just touch it here and there. I'm gonna wash out my brush a bit. Ooh, I'm gonna shake the camera like crazy again. How fast does it know? Because it's supposed to be a bit of a smaller robot. I didn't really give scale. It's relatively fast, but not cheetah fast, I would say. Let me actually do this. I'm gonna take the semi-darkest ink and just add some blotches to these particles that are thrown up in the air. We can do that. Yeah, so now we can do the opposite. So we have the watercolor down, and we can come back a little bit with the ink. So I'm still gonna wait a bit for it to dry. Less interesting for you guys to watch, but should make it look relatively good. Add thin lines with 0.05 micron on the background, like some crack effects on the... Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. What am I using for shading? Ink. You can see the different inks. Just from an India ink. And with pen and water. That's it, nothing else. Shadow should be on the head antenna. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Okay, we could also add a shadow beneath him. And I'm gonna bring a little, so I was thinking maybe do the shadow with ink as well, which would be possible, but I'm gonna make it look more mechanical with just a fine liner. And then we can add a couple of rocks here and there. And impurities. Show that pin again. What pin? What pin are you talking about, Ru? Okay. The pen, or not pin, from your inkwells. It looked like you had a nib pin. No, it's just a pen. It's a normal pen. Nothing special about it. It is a normal brush pen. Alright, we have scurry. And with that, we have finished our secret Inktober sketch stream. See you folks in the next video, next stream, which should be on Thursday. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and yeah, see you soon. Thanks for joining. Bye bye.